Hey, what's up, everybody? This is DJ Keo, and today we are doing a State of the Union for Denon Prime, Denon everything. Stop what you're doing. Before we even finish this video, please hit the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Help your boy out with the algorithm, and let's get into this. A lot of hand moving. All right, let's get into it. Denon has had a pretty good year for the hardware side and a so-so year for the software side. I think it's safe to say that Denon and in music in general has been knocking it out of the park when it comes to hardware. Their media player controllers, whatever you want to call them, have been second to none. Just ridiculously amazing pieces of gear that's pushed the industry forward. So, like, I've raved about them. You guys seen videos about it. Everybody likes what they're doing on the hardware side. Software side, meh. But I'm gonna get into that in a second. So, what did Denon release this year? SC6000, SC6000M, Prime Go, and the X1850 4-channel mixer. I didn't really like the mixer that much, but that type of mixer is not really for me. And the bulk of the control is in the players. So the mixer, you're basically just controlling the channels, and that's pretty much it. And effects. All right. I want people to jump on my neck, but it's not as exciting as some of the other mixers are. I think we can all agree on that. But that's not to take away from what they've been doing. The overall package for the hardware has been spectacular this year. And I don't think anybody can have a disagreement with that. Hardware aside, Denon has been putting a focus on removing the laptop out of your performance and having you just focus completely on the gear. And to that degree, I would say they've succeeded in at least putting excitement in this type of DJing. Pioneer has been focusing on that for a minute, and that's what the original the record box was for, was to make your playlist and do all your cue points and all that stuff in record box, transfer it to the thumb drive, and play it in your CDJ Nexus. But like, you get my drift. Like, the point of record box initially was to do all of that stuff there, and then you come prepared to your gig with your thumb drive. I don't even have one as a prop, but you get my drift. When you deal with the market share that it has, Denon hardware is sitting around 9-ish%. And this is again coming from the Digital DJ Tips 2020 survey of over 30 something thousand DJs across the world. I think it's a good barometer. Now, and granted, and I said this in the other video, it is not 100% accurate, but I think it will give you a pretty good idea where the market is and what people are thinking about the gear. All right, so hardware is sitting roughly around 9-ish%. And compared to Record Box and Pioneer and Newmark and some of these other larger brands, I think it's in a pretty good spot considering that the hardware is more on the higher end versus a lot of the other gear is cheaper. You can get a Pioneer controller for like 200 bucks. Denon doesn't have any gear that cheap. I've talked about this in the Record Box State of the Union. People are really interested in the future for Denon gear, but currently not a lot of people use it. I think it's a lot of professionals and people are retired and they just like DJing. Those guys are interested in the Denon because they're pushing the industry forward, and so they like it. But most people still stick with Pioneer, and so that section of the market isn't as strong as it could be. But a lot of people are looking for, and I think that's a good thing for Denon, is that people are definitely looking into the future for that kind of gear. But right there, they just don't have it in their hands. So now let's get to the software. And on the software side, Denon is, well, okay. Most of the Denon gear that's out right now, if not all of it, is compatible with Serato. And I think that has something to do with in music ownership. Denon is definitely pushing the Engine Prime software. And this year, the software has done mostly just bug fixes and minor improvements. But it hasn't had a major update this year. Nothing crazy that says, "Oh my god, look what Denon's doing right now." Like they got something crazy over. I said crazy a couple times, but like you get my drift. When I get back to the digital DJ tips survey, you can see that Engine Prime isn't even ranking in this section here. I think the reason for that is because it's doing the bare minimum of what Rekordbox used to do. The Rekordbox is a fully fleshed out DJ software now to use with controllers from different brands and everything else like that. And, let's be real here. At this point, I think a lot of people are using it with Serato and even virtual DJ. And again, this is my personal opinion. I don't have the numbers to back this up. I don't have the internal polling and whatever from Denon to look at the behind the scenes numbers, but the people that I've seen that are using Denon gear are using it with Serato. Very few people are using it with the Engine Prime thing. And I think it's because Engine Prime isn't a DVS software. Engine Prime, as it stands right now, is not fully fleshed out. And I made a video about this, I think it was this year. And I asked the question: is Engine Prime the weak link in the ecosystem for Denon gear? Because Denon is putting out really solid hardware, but it doesn't seem to resonate with the DJs. And my personal opinion, I think, is Engine Prime is not fully fleshed out to where it could be. I have a pros and cons and some stuff I want to talk about Engine Prime in a second, but I want to touch on this personally. And again, this is my personal opinion. I feel that Denon could be further ahead with the hardware and the software if Engine Prime was a fully fleshed out DVS type software like Rekordbox or Serato or even Traktor. When you look at Engine Prime as a software, it's missing major things that a lot of DJs would like to use. People who look at the software and they say, well, Serato's doing all this stuff, Rekordbox is doing all this stuff, Traktor's doing all this stuff. Engine Prime is just a place for me to put my playlist together, barely. And it's not to knock Denon or anything like that, but it is bare bones at this point. And I'm gonna fully acknowledge that down the road, Engine Prime is gonna be a powerhouse because you can see it. The blueprint's there, and the updates are coming fast and furious, like Vin Diesel. Or that's such a boomer joke, but uh, updates are coming. Like they haven't abandoned the software. Like updates are coming. Like you can tell that they're trying to make improvements to the software, and the software is really smooth. Like it runs great. But at the end of the day, Engine Prime is still bare bones. And so I think a lot of people who come from Serato or Rekordbox and they take a look at it, it kind of turns people off because you're looking at fully fleshed out DJ software, and this thing is strictly to put your playlist together. That's it. That's all you can do with Engine Prime. So what I know it sounds like I'm bashing Engine Prime, and I'm not trying to do it to bash or whatever, or just to say that it's not good enough or whatever. Because Rekordbox, when initially started off, was just bare bones, same way like this, just putting the playlist together, and the edits were basic as hell. Trying to keep it family friendly. It was very basic. So based on the time frame from when it came out to where it is now, it's chugging along. All right. Things I like. I like the layout. I know some people do not like the layout. I like the vibrant colors with the green and stuff like that. That's to my personal taste. It is fairly intuitive. When you look at it, you kind of know what you're supposed to be doing. I've talked to DJs and they looked at Tractor and they have no idea what to do. And people look at Ableton and they have no clue what the hell they're doing with Ableton. Like it takes a while to get acclimated into the different software or whatever. But you can look at Engine Prime and you can instantly tell what the hell you're supposed to be doing. So I think that's a positive. waveforms are bright and they're large, and you can zoom in on them, something you cannot do in Serato, which is ridiculous. It makes it easier when you're editing and trying to figure out where the beat grids and all that stuff goes. Like I said before, it is really smooth, and I think that I like that it's not a heavy load on your CPU when you're using your laptop. And partly because it's bare bones, but at this moment in time, it is fairly smooth on, and I'm using an i5 and it's a pretty old computer with like, I think it's like 8 gigs of RAM, but like it runs smooth on my laptop, and that's all you can ask for. All right, let's get into the cons. And it's not really cons, it's the things that I think need to be added in the future, uh, potentially to make things better. Now, I've made my point about I think it needs to be DVS. And granted, I support the no laptop movement. But if you want to get people from Serato into Engine Prime, you need a bridge and you need to support more gear. All right, so let's talk the future of Denon, Engine Prime, Optimus Prime. Like, let's just go do the whole gambit of primes, all right? Um, in my opinion, I think Denon is making spectacular hardware, but they're not moving the needle because they can't they haven't quite reached all the markets. And if you're gonna go laptop free, that's gonna be a problem because all of your controllers start at $1,000. Pioneer is selling a $200 controller. Serato is selling, or not Serato, but I mean people who are using Serato can get a $99 controller. Uh, Traktor, I can buy a $180 controller. Everybody has entry level controllers, mid range controllers, and higher end controllers. Denon is only supplying the higher end market, and that is great. All right, higher end market is spectacular. That's the type of controllers I'm going to buy. But if you want to expand your market share, you have to cater to all of the other types of markets. And that includes the cheap $200 controller market and the 699 mid-range, about to do my first couple gigs professionally market. And Denon is not looking at these people at all. I think it's an issue that they're going to have to address in the future. I said feature. It's an issue they're going to have to address in the future if they want to increase their market share. Now, if they want to be the Rolls Royce of controllers and hardware, that's fine, but you need to make Engine Prime a Rolls Royce and not a Honda Civic, right? With mismatching hubcaps. I went there. Um, Everything needs to be Rolls Royce then. You need to be at Rekordbox level for um, controlling your playlist and putting things together and the amount of things you can do to analyze your software and all that kind of stuff. I said software. You need to be at a Rolls Royce level for Engine Prime, and it is not there. I'm calling it as I see it. Your hardware is here, your software is down here somewhere, all right? I love I love the controllers. I love what you guys are doing. SC6000 is one of my favorite media players of all time. Like, that thing is spectacular. That large screen, oh my god. All right, getting off topic here. Denon, you you're doing great things with your hardware. Software, not so much. Not so, and then granted, I know it's coming. I know it's coming, all right? But it's not there. And my video about this was controversial and people were ripping me in comment section and all that stuff like that. But if you're gonna go, we're gonna be a higher end hardware, and that's all we're gonna cater to. Your software needs to be in the higher end, and it is just not. It is not. It is bare bones. The beat grid functions are bare bones. So what would I like to see? I mentioned it before. DVS, yes. They have Denon makes record players. You need to make a DVS software, all right? That just goes without saying. And it needs to come out the gate running. We can't have training wheels on this thing. I mean, out the gate, features that are at bare minimum, at least tractor level. That's shots fired, all right. But at bare minimum, at least tractor levels. You need to come out the gate. And we'll get to the Serato and the Rekordbox stuff. But at the minimum, I believe it needs DVS. Second thing they need to do is they need to cater to the lower end market. I know the angry Rolls Royce people are gonna be mad at me, but they need to cater to the smaller market. Like it has to be done. I think this it sounded harsh, but it's coming from a place of love, all right? And I mean that. I truly mean that. I love what Den is doing. And I don't know if it's because of in music or this is just the route they chose to go. I don't know. I hope they get a bigger market share doing what they're doing. But I've been in the DJ game for a long time, man. You got to cater to these other people. Otherwise, you're not going to make any noise. So let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear from you guys about where Denon is, where they need to be. And again, this is coming from a place of love. I love Denon Harbor. I love it. Let me know what you guys think. Are you happy with the software? Are you happy with the hardware? Do you like what these guys are doing? Leave it down in the comment section. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And peace out. Bitches.